Hello and welcome to Initiations to Esoteric Knowledge, Part 22, The Power of Intimacy and Sex in Partnership. If you followed this series, this is leading up to a great climax. I'm very excited about this episode, and I hope that it provides you um, more intimacy and sex in your partnership. Summary of previous episode. We mentioned how men are providers, and we had an exercise for women to make a list of all the ways that men provide for you, then detail that list and share it with your husband, boyfriend, partner. We ended the episode helping you become conscious that the lack was not in your reality, it was in your mindset and in your programmed ego. This current episode is for adults only, as it discusses sex and intimacy. So I'll just let that disclosure go before. I tried to keep it as clean as I could, but there are some parts that where we will discuss sex in detail. So we're going to start with notice your feelings on sex and intimacy. A woman cannot understand men, bring out the best in men, and she can't do that without understanding their relationship to sex. And any shame and embarrassment cannot be concealed. Sex may be your deepest wound and fear. By challenging your thoughts and feelings, one moves closer to a greater relationship with oneself and their partner as a result. Healing the wounds from the feminist movement. Women may have previously been walking in the assumption that everything she was doing brought good. But after walking through the exercises in the previous parts to initiations to esoteric knowledge, she will look specifically at what each task provides. This causes her to be more articulate and appreciative of her partner. She'll notice things left undone after weighing the energy expenditure to the benefit. By doing this, the management of her home looks more bearable. So we're going to get into women wanting a baby. It's very much a maternal instinct. And if a woman has been programmed in the feminist movement, women have well developed masculine skills for pursuit of results. Some will buy endless books and research for hours. Some will have ovulation kits and basal thermometers. They'll want to control everything down to the sex of the baby. If you're a man, you may receive texts from work demanding to come home and impregnate her. Has this made sex a chore? Has sex become a task? Have you spent a fortune on making a baby? Focus on getting pregnant is redundant and self defeating. The whole point of sex is reproduction. Unless there is a reason to worry about fertility, focusing on getting pregnant is not necessary at all, and it's harmful, especially to your relationship. Switch your focus to great sex. Great sex takes care of getting pregnant. It's more fun, and focus on getting pregnant ruins your sex life and intimacy. So you should only have sex when you want to. Having sex when both want to is almost always insufficient, even when trying to create a new life. Most couples need to have sex more than that. If you're not trying to get pregnant, why would you have sex more often than you want to? For men with wives demanding sperm on demand, that sounds like a bummer. So, how should sex work? Normally, couples have sex when they want to, which is fine in the beginning phase when sexual tension is high. It is sexual tension that gets sex started, which is the most difficult hurdle. As time goes on, sex becomes like aligning the moon and stars, two people wanting sex in favorable conditions. Sex drive is dependent on hormone levels for both men and women. You can't leave your sex life in the hands of your undependable body's cyclical and circumstantial hormones. Ask yourself this: do you do the dishes? Are you overcome by your desire to do the dishes? So, why would you do it besides it needing to be done? You do it because of what it provides for your family. The modern context we have adopted for sex is one of wanting to cause our sex lives. This is an improvement over duty. Providing is supposed to cause sex. Providing is a commitment to your partner instead of physically wanting. When sex is based on what it provides your partner, your attention is now on the benefit to your partner and union. You are acknowledging that physical impulse is unreliable. Won't providing sex be dry and boring? Desire makes sex juicy and fun, but it's not the source of your sex life. You can consciously cause wanting to spice up a sexual encounter. If providing is the source of your sex life, what does sex provide for your partner? What do different kinds of sexual experiences provide, such as a quickie, a banquet, making love, having sex, and activities such as kissing? What does sex provide for a man? Physically, the act of sex fills a need and hunger, a distracting ache that grows unbearable over time. Hunger slows with age, strong physical need to feel inside her. With the with the release at climax, all the tension that's built up in his body over time floods out of him, leaving his body spent and relaxed, like pressing a reset button. It provides essential nutrients not found in food or beverage. It gives him the fuel to be a man, protective, and provide for his partner. Without it, he feels weak and emasculated. Emotionally, he can let go. He doesn't have to be careful or conceal himself. He is not on guard. He can be vulnerable and it's okay. When a woman touches him, he's moved beyond words. When a woman gives herself to him, he melts. As he holds her, he feels her holding him. He feels safe to just be. The spiritual side of sex is more significant as a man ages. The physical act is not as urgent, but it's still essential. The emotional and spiritual parts of sex blend together and are important. What he receives from sex can be dependent on making his partner happy. Almost everything great about sex depends on the woman feeling secure with him. It's about letting the woman experience his love for her in this way. When a woman surrenders to him and lets him give her pleasure, his entire spirit essence is altered. He is lifted to another dimension and boundaries blur. He flows into her and feels her flowing into him. The connection felt to her nurtures him for days. Sex is more than a predicament that complicates or ends a relationship. Upon hearing what sex provides for a man, this leaves a woman in a tumble of emotions. There's gratitude, hope, desire, and maybe some regret and or sadness. What does sex provide for women? Same for her as for a man. She also experiences sex as physical, emotional, and spiritual. She may have previously thought men saw sex as merely physical and fun. Knowing that both men and women see sex as having meaning, one is more enthusiastic about providing it to his and her partner. Women's hunger for sex. She may only experience this when she's ovulating. If sex doesn't happen, desire fades back to nothing. Sex during ovulation or before her period may not require foreplay. She may long for his oh, ejaculation in order to feel comfortable again. Ovulating may make her feel unattractive due to insatiable need for sex. Demand for sex can be a turnoff. When she most needs sex, hungers for sex, she is least likely to get it. Communication of her needs and feelings to her partner solves this, as does providing. By understanding this, a man may feel more motivated and a duty to provide. Duty and demand are two different things. Notice the timing is different. Demand is immediate. Duty comes with opportunity, and there's a choice to provide. What does sex provide for a woman? Sex makes a woman physical when she is touched by a man. She gets in her body wakes up, she feels alive and vital. When a man is inside her, she feels whole and at home. It is hard for her to remember that feeling. Sex is emotional, physical, and spiritual. She may see sex as only physical when she is ovulating. Otherwise, it's a blend of all three. Each act contributes to its own dimension of sex. Kissing is most personal and exciting. She is kinder, wiser, more generous when having regular sex. She also feels more feminine, youthful, serene, and herself. What impact does sex have on your union? Physical representation of the spiritual bond that can grow between two people. It's an expression of the union. Man and woman are a duality of the spiritual and physical. Uh, a spiritual experience of communication and intimacy will almost immediately translate into a physical desire to be close. This is why an expression of love brings an impulse to hug or kiss. You may feel compelled to sit close or hold hands. Physical affection is an expression of physical intimacy. It expresses and gives a sense of wholeness and completion. When physically united, there is no separation. Physical union can reestablish a spiritual connection and heal it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous day.